All right, folks, it is after 7. I'd like to get started so that I can get you folks home to... So I can get you folks home to relax the rest of your day there. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Ed Gentile. I'm the Director of Public Works. I'd just like to recognize here in the front row, Jamie Stevenson, your first selectman, is here tonight. And the gentleman with the clipboard is Darren Ostafine. He is the Assistant Director of Public Works. He will be managing and running this project. But for this presentation, I'm going to roll out this project to you folks, and we'll both take some questions at the end. What to expect from this meeting tonight? I will go through some bullet points on how this project came forward to me. Again, we'll go through why we're doing it a certain way, why it's located in certain places, dimensions, things like that. It'll take me about 10 or 15 minutes to go through those bullet points. I want you folks to understand that there's nothing on this plan that's chiseled in stone right now. We'd like your feedback on some things. There's nothing that we won't look at for you, and we probably have some really good reasons we're doing certain things out here, dimension-wise, location-wise. And we'll talk those points over with you if we have questions about them. Darren also is available to meet with you on site if you have issues with your specific driveway, let's say, or a radius of a turn that goes into your road. We've had a couple already. Folks ask about it, and we'll go over some of those things also. What I'm going to try to do is get through the justification for the project and my bullet points and try to answer as many of the questions you folks came in here with to kind of ease you that I've looked at this project quite hard to make sure that we're going to get the best benefit out of this when we're done. So we started this project a couple of years ago, hearing about it anyway and looking at it and working into our budget. I had a number of requests from commuters in the area residents with children regarding safety. Some of these requests I found in our system that go back, that predate me, and I've started here a little over 5 years ago. We hired a surveyor last year and obtained a topographic survey in January of 2019. That was about 9 months ago. We then proceeded to, with all the other stuff we were working on, design this in-house and do a preliminary layout, which you're looking at in front of you here on this board. There is an identical one over here, so later, after the meeting, you want to talk to Darren or myself, we have both of these going. We can expedite that also. July 12th, 2019, we did send out a letter and a photo to you folks in the area so that you could take a look at the project, kind of introduce you to it, if you will, and see if we could get some feedback. And we did. We got a couple of the neighbors that did call in and speak to Darren about it. We felt at that time we made some slight modifications. We did some stuff in the field. I'll speak of a little while. But we did send out in August, end of August the 29th, we sent out a press release to announce this public meeting. September 3rd, we sent out a letter to you folks also to let you know that we were having this meeting tonight to introduce this project to you. Sorry. So let me talk about the project. So it is located on Locust Hill. It's between the intersection of Old Kings Highway South and Delafield Island. It's along the south side of the road, as it's shown in north is up, the south side of the road is below. It was designed in-house, as you're aware of. The proposed sidewalk is approximately 500 linear feet in length. The proposed material is an asphalt curb and asphalt sidewalk to match the existing sidewalk as it goes up Locust Hill. I understand that a section of sidewalk in front of Settlers Trail, the corner of Settlers Trail, is concrete, but we decided that we would match the rest of the sidewalk going up the street with asphalt and asphalt curbing. The one exception would be our handicap ramps, as required by ADA, are concrete with tactile warning strips at the two locations. Like I said, the handicap materials will be in concrete, and all the crossings, all the driveway crossings and the roadway corners are handicap accessible. It means you can roll up on them. There will be some modifications to driveways and roadway crossings. And what Darren has done, and I think they've been out there for a couple weeks now, we've painted the radiuses on there. We did get some feedback on one, so we went back out and repainted it again. We made some modifications. You'll see that at Delafield Island. I think we all felt when we got out there and looked at it from paper to project on ground that that radius was a little bit too tight. So we modified that one, and we'll be modifying our plan accordingly. I understand some folks had some comments about that, so that was some good comments, some good feedback. We went out and looked at it right away. We do have some proposed drainage upgrades. We will be relocating the 2 catch basins alongside of that road. They are currently in the gutter line or just behind the gutter line, which is in the grassed area. Once we put the sidewalk in, those catch basins would be behind the sidewalk. So I have to add 2 catch basins in the street and tie those new ones into the old ones behind the sidewalk. And we'll regrade behind the sidewalk to make sure there's positive drainage to those catch basins. There'll be some mailbox relocations. There's multiple mailbox relocations. And of course, we will put them as per U.S. postal requirements and with feedback from the property owners. We try to mix and match that together, but first and foremost, we don't want the post office not to deliver your mail. So they do have some specific guidelines on where they should be, but they won't be in the sidewalk. We will repaint all necessary roadway line striping. There's not much out there, but we'll be replacing that. We also will be installing the new crosswalk at Old Kings Highway and Locust Hill, and then we'll be painting that a white stripe, just like the other one that's there already, that crosses Old Kings Highway. We will be, once we have completed our plan and had consensus to move forward with a plan, we will have to approach and apply to the Legal Traffic Authority for the town of Darien, who is the police commission, and get their approval and permission for the crosswalk at the intersection as shown on this plan. They have all legal authority to approve or disapprove with a location for a crosswalk, stop signs, anything like that in the town right away. The estimated cost for this project is $75,000. The funds have been appropriated already. They are in place and waiting to be used. The tentative construction start date is spring of 2020. I'm hopeful that we get everything in line, all our approvals, get ready to go. We are going to rebid our sidewalk contract. It comes due this October, so we figured we will rebid it again. We try to rebid it every other year, but this is the time to do it again, it appears. So once we have the contract and stuff in place, we don't want to do the sidewalk in the wintertime. That's not the best time to be doing this construction, so we will wait till March and April. And if my recollection is that this section of Locust Hill also is slated to be paved next year too, in July. So we'll clean up a sidewalk issue, a roadway issue, and I think we'll walk away with a good product when we're done. Construction duration should be anywhere to 3 to 4 weeks, weather permitting. And at that time of the year, weather usually is an indicator and a direct impact on your schedule. So those are the things we have to work with. And our construction management and inspection will be done in-house by Darren Ostafine, the assistant director. He has, since I've been here, the 5 years, done all of our construction management and inspections and all the sidewalks that we've put in. And I believe he does a great job at that. So that'd be another savings for the town right there. So I've gone through my bullet points. I think that was less than 10 minutes. But I wanted to give you a feel for what the project is. What I think we're going to do right now is maybe open it up to any questions you folks may have. I think Jim is going to want you to use the microphone, if you have them, so he can record it and hear it up there. Sure.
Alan Kaufman, I live on Delafield Island. I can't see the aging thing, but I've seen the lines there that look like they're 115-degree angle. It look kind of crazy. And I was wondering, it sounded like some other people could say the same thing. You might have fixed it.
This would be Delafield Island Road.
Yes.
This is that sharp angle you're talking about?
Yes.
We did go out and repaint 25-foot radius instead of the 5 and 10 that we had out there.
Okay.
Because I think we all noticed it after a while and brought up, like some of the residents also, a good point was that just this was too tight.
Okay.
It wasn't going to work well, so we pulled it back a little bit. We're going to shoot for 25. I think that's a good compromise for that radius and for the angle of the way the road is coming in. So we do plan to make it bigger.
Still can't see, but almost everybody in the neighborhood ultimately goes into town, comes back and makes that right turn. So it's going to be around 90 degrees, not worse than that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Liz Bacon, I live at 59 Delafield Island. I had the same concerns when I saw it. I was like, wow, this is like incredibly tight. And I'm not sure it's still enough. That functions as a bus stop. We have big trucks coming and go. Even though our roads are undersized, we have big things coming in and out of the neighborhood. And to be able to negotiate that turn, we need enough of the mouth there to do it gracefully. So I would really encourage you to make that as gentle a turn as you're able. The other question is, why are we using asphalt instead of concrete? I think the concrete marries with the downtown feel of where the town is going, and their concrete sidewalks under 95. And it just feels like a more finished, and I know from my time on the building committee that it's also a more stronger, more stable material to use for that, whereas when we use the asphalt, it tends to crumble and get chewed up, and trucks coming and going, it could easily get bumped up and destroyed and start to really break down quickly. So is that an option, to use that better material?
There's always options, and we did look at that option. We also look at the continuity through the rest of the neighborhood and the fact that it was on the south side of I-95 and kind of away from the downtown area. We looked at the loading for trucks or plows and things like that. Would it be impacted where we were putting it? Between Darren and I, that we did go back and forth on this. We just thought that the asphalt would still fit within the neighborhood, and to be honest with you, it's going to last. In that section, it's not going to get as beat up as you think it would. That's basically the reason we went with the asphalt. We just thought the continuity through that rest of the neighborhood was the way it was. The concrete is up on Settlers Trail is a little different than the rest of the area, but if you go up and down that whole road right now, it's asphalt.
So it'll be road, it'll be like a mounded curb,
Yep.
and then it'll be flat, and then what happens when the sidewalk meets the grass?
We usually put a small wooden barrier to pour up against and roll up against, and then we grade with topsoil and we roll that too. So we're trying to create a firm backdrop for the asphalt so it doesn't crack off on the backside, generally where it does happen. We also, just so you know, when we do an asphalt sidewalk, we do place more base past the edge of the asphalt so it doesn't roll off like that, and we compact that quite strongly. All right, you're welcome. Please.
First off, I'm glad this is finally getting done because I've lived in the neighborhood for 18 years and it's always been dicey getting across to go into town with dogs, kids, etc. First, I gather you have to okay this with the police, I think you said, but I was wondering what you were proposing for a crosswalk, any kind of signage to get people to slow down, any lighting, what were you proposing for that?
With any crosswalk, we are required from the Legal Traffic Authority to put the signage ahead 250 feet, crosswalk ahead, and directly with the fluorescent green ones that you see now, very visible, high vis they call them. There's a crosswalk sign with an arrow pointing down, so as you approach it, you see that also you'll have that from both directions.
Okay, and I know this is not correct. Okay, sorry, I'm short.
You could just tilt it down if you like. There you go.
I know this is not technically within the scope of what exactly you're proposing right here, but it's connected in purpose, which is safe travel for people that are coming from these associations and from Tokenique School all the way down in here into town. Because a lot of people walk to work, can't get a permit for 7 years to park. People are walking their kids to school, using strollers, and you're talking about handicapped gradations going in and out down this park. But at this point, there's been so much overgrowth between where you are standing, going up and to all the way to Tokenique. The exception being Penny Glass Meyer's lovely sidewalk. It is so overgrown. It is now a one-person wide in some sections. There's a sinkhole. An elderly person fell and broke her arm. I don't expect you to re-pour a whole sidewalk to Tokenique, but there should be a way to reseal it, clear it, redefine the width of that, so it's safe for the purposes of what, you're making a lovely connection here to town, but it's not going, people are still further on, hopping off on dangerous blind curves because they can't pass people or because a stroller or whatever can't get through.
Okay.
Just wanted to bring that to your
So it sounds like we need to do a little TLC on the upper portion to get you a full-width sidewalk going up there.
Exactly, because while this little section is going to be very safe, there are sections in between for these people walking to the train, town, school. I'm just pointing that out.
No, I appreciate that. And we will take a look at it. This gentleman here is writing down everything for us tonight.
I'm Clara Sartori, and I live at 161 Old Kings Highway South, and I'm on the RTM for District 2. I think it's a great idea, and I thought that in some of the paperwork, you mentioned that it would be easier for kids to walk to school on the sidewalk, which sounds like a good idea. I wondered if children who presently can take the bus because there is no sidewalk will now lose that opportunity to take the bus. Maybe you can't answer the question, but I suppose somebody else could. Would that be a result of having a sidewalk?
I can tell you I've never heard that before, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen, but
Yeah, perhaps there's someone that understands the Board of Ed rules, maybe even better than I do here, but whether you have a bus to school or not is really guided by school bus policy, the distance from the school that you go to. It really doesn't matter whether there's a sidewalk or not, but we are certainly endeavoring in our plans for sidewalk renovations and new builds to prioritize safe walking to schools. That's my understanding of policy.
Frank McGarry, 11 Delafield Island. Two observations. Well, a question. How wide is the sidewalk going to be?
it's 5 feet wide.
Okay, I'd love to make it 10. So we all know Locust Hill flows converting away from Post Road when it's jammed, Old Kings Highway, excuse me. And they're coming down, and they get through the S-curve if they're going towards Tokenique, and then it becomes a straightaway, and it's very wide, and they floor it, and if you're turning into Delafield, they go out around you. So anything that narrows that road, I think, will help us with some kind of traffic calming, so I think that's great. Overall, I think it's great. Again, one of the nice things is we're creating more and more of a walkable community. There are already a lot of people that use this area. To have the sidewalks is going to be great. The one challenge is the mouth of Delafield and the fact that, and this is the yin and yang of living in a private association. We don't have, the school buses do not come in and pick up kids. So particularly during the school bus pickup and drop-off times, you got a lot of moms there who've driven their kids, out to the exit, and we did it. We walked or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a reality, and that's going to create more of a bottleneck, and obviously narrowing it down is going to create more of a bottleneck. But to my mind, it's something where, within our community, we're just going to need to communicate and cooperate and hopefully get some patience from people, and obviously trucks going in and out. Quite honestly, right now, it's so wide that if there are cars parked on the hill, people are going in the other lane, and that's not great either. Either people exiting or trucks trying to come in, and there's a jam there. And I just think we're going to have to manage around it. Since we're private, the buses can't come in. That's not an option. But overall, I think it's just something we're going to learn and have to learn how to adjust to and work together as residents and neighbors to make it workable.
I appreciate that. I will let you know that opening on Delafield Island was almost 60 feet wide. I think we've made it 50. And that's just out at the roadway. So once you get back onto Delafield Island, the road proper on your property, we really haven't touched anything. So that dimension will still be the same, just the throat of it, and we've moved it out a little bit. Anybody else? Okay. Please, the letter you have has, I believe, Darren's contact information in it. The first two. Well, the first one did. I really can't speak for the second one. I know the first one did. And if you need our contact information, please get it before you leave. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, you want to meet us in the field, we're more than happy to give our time for that. We understand these projects as large or as small, they can impact the neighborhood. We'd like to hear about it before we start construction. That usually helps us out. Okay? Folks, thank you very much for coming out tonight. I really do appreciate it, and have a great